Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of Horizons, the Author Lounge. And tonight I am excited because I don't just have a comedian in the studio with me. I have a veteran comedian in the Author Lounge with me, and I'm so excited to talk with her. I was just looking at a clip from one of her performances, and then while I was looking for that clip, I saw some other ones, and they was like 12 years old, 13 years old. Oh, lady, how long have you been doing comedy? She said 28 years. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I know you have something to say about comedy, about comedy writing, about just getting in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Because people ask me, like, sometimes, why do I have comedians on the show if they're not authors?
Yeah.
But you're authors because you are doing a different type of writing. You are
Yeah.
preparing your material. And
Yeah.
often you're preparing that material all by yourself with
Mhm.
nobody around, and you
Right.
have to have faith that it's going to be funny.
Yep. Yep. In essence, that yeah, you do. You do. You know what I mean? You are, sitting and developing or however, whatever somebody's process is,
Yeah.
you getting it, you like, okay, I think, okay, this. And and something I always tell the comics and something a lesson that I had to learn was to just let me trust it. Let me trust what God has given me. Let me
Yes.
trust it. And sometimes you get, you pull back and then try it again and try it again. But yeah, it's trust in that process. And then you still, whatever type of comedy you do, it's still storytelling.
Right. And that's the thing about it is I think the funniest comedians are the ones who tell a story, something
Hmm.
that we can identify with. And
Hmm.
that's why I like the clip that we're about to show, because I told you it just reminded me of my mom
Yeah.
and how my mom calls me sometimes during the show, and then I'll text her and we're like, I'm on the show. And then she'll write back, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Did she text you in all caps with
Oh
with
no, okay.
16
I'll
spaces?
give her that. But my tax lady, she's older than I am. I'm just gonna
Okay.
say she's older than I am.
Yeah.
And she always texts me in all caps, and it drives me
Hilarious.
crazy.
That's hilarious. I'm telling you, after a certain point, I don't know if the buttons, I don't know what it is. But it's all caps. My mother would, I was like, what word was you trying? She's like, I don't know how to do this. She told her, I ain't gonna text you no more. Why you got me doing all this extra stuff? Chaz, my thumbs. So
Right, right. Well, we keep talking about that clip. Let's just go ahead and play
all right.
it. All right, there we go.
But you know what? I'm grateful. I have an awesome family. I have an interesting mama though. My mama is something else, y'all. Some of y'all might be able to attest to this. Where your mom, she just call you and she don't want shit. Anybody had that? When she call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, and then leave a message that don't make no sense. It's a real message my mother left on my phone. Hello, Chaz. Hello, is she there? Old people think the beep is you. Hello. Chaz, listen, I think the girl downstairs making mess in the basement. I think she know I know. She'll come up here, she gonna kill me. I don't want to bother you. Call me back.
Oh my goodness, I love that clip. Do you get a lot of material just from your real life
I do.
your real life relationships?
Oh my God, yes. Yes. And then I'm a teacher on top of that. So
Mm,
my stories of my day-to-day with my students, stories from, of my family members, and they're hilarious. So, everybody has their own personalities, and so that is just, and then, childhood and experiences and stuff that, has happened to me. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
now, did they ever get mad at you because you
You know,
included them in a sketch?
my mom was rose angry with me for a minute. She goes, I don't know what you're telling them people at the places, Chaz, and them seats, but I need some money about my thing. I was like, okay, you know what? You're not going out my house with that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That was our back and forth. But yeah, she was going in on me at one point. One night she came out, she came to a show, and I was telling the story about her from when I was a kid. When she had gotten on the bus, she had forced me to be in the band, and I got bullied on the bus by this girl in the 8th grade. I was in 6th grade. She looked like Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I hit her in the back of the leg. I hit her in the back of the leg, with my instrument case, and she was gonna beat me up. And my mother was, I'm an only child, you know what I mean? So my mom was my bodyguard, and she was like, "Oh, what who messing with you, Chaz? They messing with you. They messing with me. They call me Psycho Mom. My name is Celeste."
Okay, mama.
Yes. And she came and got on the bus and cussed the girl out, and it was a hot mess. You know what I mean? So yeah, she was throwing pennies at me that night. She was going in her purse and just thought, "Shut up, Chaz, stop telling." I was like, "Hey, it happened."
She was throwing pennies at you during the show?
During the show, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Pennies and nickels, yes. Everything at the bottom of the purse, yes.
Did you do it again, though?
Yes, I did.
I knew it.
Yes, I did. I did. Because I know I'm not alone in the experiences. Everybody's experienced something in some kind of way. And so for me, it's about the share. And then if that blesses folks with, people can laugh and get healed, that's what it is, So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to even get into comedy? I know you said you teach, which is a bunch of material all in and of itself.
Yeah.
But what made you decide to even get into the comedy industry?
You know what, it was I was always I wasn't a complete class clown, but I was this close. I was inches away and was always as a kid, and high energy. But I remember even in middle school and then all through high school, people would say to me, "Hey, you need to go into comedy. You need to," and I knew I was a fan of comedy. Like, I watched, for some reason, even when I was a kid, I watched comedy films. I watched stand up. I really enjoyed stand up, but I just liked it. I wasn't, like, oh, I'm pursuing it. And
Right.
it kind of found me. Stand up really found me. I didn't necessarily, head out to like, oh, I'm going to be a comedian. You know what I mean? Like, it found me. So that's how I know it was God's hand, And in college, my best friend actually signed me up for a talent show without me knowing.
Was that your first time getting on stage doing comedy?
Yeah, that was my first time, and that's when I started in 1994. So yeah.
Wow. So what was that experience like? The first time you step on stage, you're not sure if you're really funny or
I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea. I just made a list of things that I thought were funny. And I didn't know anything about material and writing and structure and all those things.
Yes.
I just, I had performed, and I had been performing because I always danced and that kind of thing, but I had never done it in this capacity, but something happened. It was one of those moments. I can't describe it to you. I just knew, I'm like, I'm supposed to do this. Like, it's right in the midst of it. And they gave me, ample time. They didn't I think I was only supposed to do 7 minutes or something, or 5 or something. And they gave me, they let me go for 20 minutes.
Oh, you did a whole feature show.
I did a whole set, and they didn't stop me. They didn't, you know what I mean? And I'm just going through, I'm doing, impressions and I saw this show and this, and that kind of thing.
Right.
And telling stories about different stuff and mocking folks we was in school with and friends in the audience and stuff like that. And so it went over well, and something just clicked. Something just was like, I need to keep doing this. I can't describe it to you. But
wow.
Yeah.
So when did you join the Greek comedy tour?
That was this year. Well, at the end of last year.
You just did it.
Yeah, I just did. I had heard about it years ago, maybe back in 2015. And then, I connected with some other comedians and Kelly Kells, who's another awesome young lady. A part of the Greek comedy tour was like, hey, I want to connect you with Chris, and then another comedian of Phi Beta Sigma. I ran into him in Vegas, and he said the same thing. Hey, I want to connect you with Chris. And then we finally were able to connect over, it was a couple of years, and there it went, So then he had me out this November for my wonderful sorors, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, our 100th
Oh, you are SG
celebration.
Row. Happy Centennial.
Yes, our amazing centennial. Yes, and I just celebrated our anniversary, spring '96.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago. And so yeah, so that was a great experience. It was great. Working with Kelly and Chris. And it was amazing experience. I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it.
Wow,
But
so you're kind of like, even though
Steve Brown. I'm sorry, and Steve Brown also. Yes.
Oh yeah, Omega Sci-Fi.
Yes.
Yes. So even though you are an OG in the comedy industry, you're a newbie with the Greek comedy tour.
Yes.
So
Yes, I am.
do you see things from a different perspective being a part of this group?
I mean, I think it's really, really dope to have this many performers from Greek letter organizations. We all can we all know they have, not necessarily the same experiences, but get it. And being a part of these awesome organizations and having that support everywhere that you go, and then the love just as a whole, it's just that's a great thing. That's a great thing, because I know in years past, I know people were trying to do things, and for Chris to do it and to do it the way that he's been doing it is awesome to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. He's done a lot with the tour. I don't know if you saw his comment a little earlier when he said, "Get your money." Just popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, what's happening, sir?
But no, he's been doing a lot of things. Oh, look at that. He said you killed it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. It was a ball. Oh my goodness, that was so good. That was great. Y'all just, yeah.
And then you're in front of an audience of supportive people, because your sorors are going to love you.
Yes. And even in other, other organizations, it's love. It's, what I mean? That's the best part for me. Just being a part of the organizations, and then doing events like Chris's tour, and then other shows that have been Greek based, and you got everybody, or even hosting step shows and stuff like that. Like, it's love across the board just for the Greek letter organizations. Everybody supports everybody, and that part is just great to me.
Awesome. So what do you have coming up next?
Next I'll be touring throughout the summer. I got blessed to be I'll be featuring for Roy Wood Jr. On a couple of his dates coming up, on his tour. Just glad to be here tour that he's doing. The first date is the weekend, I believe it's at Chuckles. Oh yeah, Kansas City Improv. I'm sorry. And my special is coming out, so please look for that. Chastity Washington.
You just can't glaze by that. No, that's not how we roll up in the author lounge.
Yes. So yeah, right. So blessed, so grateful. God is so good.
Yes, he is.
He's so good. So I shot the special last year, shot it in 22. Had been preparing for years to I want to do a special, and then it was, do it yourself. So went ahead and shot it, got with Milwaukee Comedy, produced it with Traveling Lemurs, executive produced by EJ Nonstop. And so it's done. It's set up for distribution, so it'll be streaming soon. It's Chastity Washington live at Dandy. And
and where can we see it? Is it streaming on Prime or?
It will be. It will be. I'm still getting. We just completed the distribution. It's just been accepted. So I will know within the next few weeks what we're expecting it to be on Amazon. We're expecting it to be on Tubi. Also, YouTube. So that we don't know yet, but it'll be coming out soon, that information. So Chastity Washington live at Dandy. Yes.
Well, congratulations on that. We're going to be looking for that so we can support you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Now, I think people need to know, and I say it all the time, that you've been around for a while, but you've done some heavyweight shows. So can we talk about some of the shows and specials that you've been a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been blessed to get to do BET Comic View. I did a season with Bruce as a host in 2001, and then got a chance to go back when they brought the show back in 2014 with some more. I did HBO Def Jam 2007. When they brought that show back,
Yeah, I
as the
remember that.
revival,
Brought it back.
in 2000, yeah, and when D.L. Hughley was hosting, so it was, that's amazing. I'm again, that God has really blessed me. I've been blessed to work, at the clubs across the country, get a chance to Jokes and Notes in Chicago, where it was, where I got a chance to build and grow. And thank you to Mary Lindsay. It's amazing, and worked in all the clubs in Chicago, and now working everywhere across the country, and Martha's Vineyard Comedy Fest, and
I saw that and I was like, okay, I need to find out when this festival is, because I've been trying to get the Martha's Vineyard for years.
absolutely, they do it every year. Shout to Damon Williams and Steve Capers, who have been doing it, geez, 10, 15 years now. It's awesome. It's amazing. And first of all, place I had never seen, never experienced in my life, and got a chance to go in 2014 and 2017. And it was an amazing experience to be in that space and to see the inkwell and the history, and
Yes.
and our folks. It was just a serene place. It was just really great, and they had great comedy. Every single year. So it's usually the first week in August, and they go for like 3 weeks or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely look it up.
Well, I can probably still make it to this one then, because August isn't here yet.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, look it up, get your tickets. Yes. Get that ferry from Boston. Come on. Yes.
Ferry from Boston. Is that what you have to do?
Yeah, you got you come in, if you fly into Boston, and then you drive down to get to the shore, to get to the ferry boats, and then you have to take the boat in to get to Martha's Vineyard.
Okay, so maybe I'll have to fly to Boston.
Or you can fly in also. You can fly in to the Vineyard also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what I'm gonna do. I live in the DMV.
Oh, okay. So you're right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and where are you located?
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I used to date a guy from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Why you said it? You said it like how people be like, my auntie used to smoke cool in the 80s. She did. She smoked all cool in the 80s. Why you?
Oh, man. That was just funny. That was a very organic moment right here in the Horizons Author Lounge.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I think he's the only person I know from Milwaukee, actually. So that's the only reason why I can say that, because he's the only person I know from Milwaukee. But now I know you, so we're good.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
All right, so let's go back to to comedy. What advice would you give somebody who wants to break into the comedy game? Because there are different types of comedy. There's stand-up comedy, then there's the improv comedy, and then you have the comedic actors.
Right.
And I don't know, sometimes you might be a good stand-up, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a good comedic actor or an improv comedian. So what advice would you give somebody who wants to break into that business?
The main objective is to start. That's the first thing.
Yes.
So whatever capacity or whatever lane you want to go into, start. So if it's improv, then hey, find somewhere that they have classes. or they have, open space where people can go in and, perform. Or
Yeah,
if you want to do
I was
comedy,
just
go
gonna
to
ask
open mic.
about those open mics. So
Mhm.
I know a lot of times even the veteran comedians like to go to open mic nights just to try out new
Yeah,
material.
yeah, yeah.
And then it's a
I
good way
still
for the
do.
newer ones to meet some other people in the industry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I still do. I still do. I still go to mics as as often as I can. And because you still get to, you stay up, and then you're developing and building material and working material. So yeah, so absolutely. Yeah. So whatever lane it is, even if whether you want to write, because they have, where comics do that too, where they have comics that teach classes on how to write for stand up. And then, and then just, overall improv and sketch,
Right.
so
Yeah,
just,
sketch is another comedy form.
exactly. So whatever it is, the main objective is to start to learn about the craft, respect the craft,
Yeah.
and then to press in. What do you feel, or do you feel comfortable doing all of it? It's on every person, but your main objective is to start and to get get those wheels turning.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right though. I think sometimes that's the scariest thing because, like I said, you could be writing something and it could be funny in your head,
Hmm.
but maybe it's not landing the way you thought it was going to land,
Right.
or maybe people don't think it's as funny. I mean, there's been times when I've written content for
Hmm.
advertising my for my retreats and so forth, and
Hmm.
I'll think, oh, this is gonna be good. They're gonna like this.
Hmm.
Then I'll show it to somebody. What do you think it is? Well, what you mean by that? I'm like, what you mean what I mean? It's
You get
right
mad. Well, why you don't like
there.
it? I took my time and wrote it. Why would you?
Right.
To be honest, like, why you? I try to put a heart over it and everything. You don't. Okay. So y'all know, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's, and then that's also with, I guess trusting your process and
Yeah.
trusting what you're good. Because then
Yeah.
sometimes it's, and I tell comics this too, like, hey, trust your funny. You know what I mean? Like, if it's working in your gut, and then you also, and that's the other thing, you do have you to put it out to see how it's received, and then you can make the adjustment, but trust it off the top. You know what I mean? Trust it off
Right.
the top, and then get it out, see how it goes, and then some things you have to tweak. You got to tweak and change and add and change and pull things away or add things to it, and then sometimes things are just, it's there, but it's you have to be willing to go, to walk through it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right. Right. So now, with you have been being in comedy for so long, do you kind of know right away what's going to hit and what won't?
I Now I have a better sense of it now, um, and then it's, it's also, and it's still a process. It's still a process. I can sit down and lay out 4 or 5 things, and I still have to see how does this go over. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
also,
Right.
what audience am I? What city am I in? Am I in front of a mixed audience, a urban audience, a all white audience? Where am I at? And where does this hit, and where, and whatever. So yeah.
Well, that's a good point because then you also have to look at the age of the audience.
And that also too,
I brought the Greek comedy tour to New Orleans one time for my
mhm,
my chapter. I'm
yeah.
in case you hadn't noticed, I'm a Zeta, but
Hey, my cousin said, yes,
all right, all
yes.
right. But I brought the Greek comedy tour to my show,
Hmm.
to my chapter,
Yeah.
and the older soror said we don't want a show with a lot of cussing in it, so they need to not cuss. And I
Hmm.
was like, ooh, okay. So I told them, and guess who the comedians were?
Mm.
D. Ellis and Steve Brown. You know that was hard for them, right? But they did it though.
Yeah.
They actually got through the show.
Yeah.
I think they might have slipped and said 1 or 2 cuss words, but they didn't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did a good
Hmm.
job.
Yeah. 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 But you know what I mean? Like, they'll, You get certain. I can remember, and it was so funny, but like even on the festival at sea or the Joiner Fantastic Voyage, it's
Right.
audiences. Some of them were older, and they sitting there, they curse and they scowling, and got a whole peppermint in their mouth. You know what I mean? And they sitting
Not the
there.
peppermint.
Yes, they sitting staring, and they scowling. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean? And you're
goodness.
like, hey, you came to have fun. Why are you? Why? So and they waiting for and they don't. And so I totally get that. I totally get that. So many, but I do a lot of everything. You know what I mean?
Right,
Thank
right.
God I get a chance to do a lot of everything. So young audiences and older audiences and in the middle and in between and different ethnicities and different, you know, all of it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So yeah.
good that you're able to kind of tweak your show depending on, and you're easily able to do it,
Hmm.
depending on who's going to be on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I do churches and all that kind of stuff too, and conferences and so yeah, so just being able to, and then people. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned from stand up with people are people,
Right,
right?
right.
And if something's funny, it's funny because we right. It's just funny. Like even when I and I have to tell stories about being a teacher and just kids in general. People laugh about their own children.
Right,
I
right.
talk about the little kids, how they coming up and they sticky. You don't want them to touch you because they some of them got shingles.
My
And
my
chicken pox.
daughter has those stories every day. She's a preschool teacher, so I know
Yep.
exactly what you're saying.
Absolutely. They hanging out in the bathroom. You know what I mean? They done flooded the bathroom. They face covered in glitter. They done ate all the glue. Right? So you know what I mean?
Wait, now what grade are you teaching, ma'am?
I have K4 through 11th grade
Oh,
right now.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Wow. So you have the gamut.
I got everybody, yeah. But I've taught high school, I've taught middle school, I've taught kindergarten, I wasn't in there long, but yeah, so so yes, because I start teaching right after I start doing stand-up. I start teaching in like 1999,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you did stand up before you started teaching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, did that help you to maybe make it easier to go into the classroom because you knew you could probably make them laugh?
And I'm not like, well, now I'm more easygoing and, but I look like one of the teachers on the Cosby Show when I first started teaching. You hear me? I had my glasses right here, I had a bun right here.
Miss Westlake.
Come on, Miss Westlake. I look like them with the peppermint in my mouth. That's what my face looked like every day. Like, shut up, stop it. Like all day. I was stone cold. But I'm about that action when it comes to the kids. I don't play no games. It's just
Yes.
woo. My high school kids and my middle school class, like I teach drama also because my background is theater. My degree
Okay.
is in theater. And so I could be a little bit more relaxed with them. But they know I don't play no games. Miss Washington ain't playing.
Right.
Come on,
Right.
what we got to do? Fix
Yeah.
it.
Stop
Let's
playing.
get our
Stop
lives
playing.
together. Let's right. So,
I'm with you. I'm with you. But Chastity, I really want to say that I enjoyed talking with you today.
same.
Yeah, this was a really fun conversation. I wish you all the best in your career. If
Thank
you
you.
are ever anywhere near the DMV area and you're performing, I'm going to be there. All you have to do is say the word.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much, Dr. Lawson. I appreciate you for having me and blessings to you in everything that you're doing. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. God bless you.
God
Keep doing
bless
what
you.
you're doing.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, y'all. That was author Chastity Washington. We want to thank her for joining us tonight. And now we're going to move over to the next guest who came right on time. Very timely. Hello, Miss Valerie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to meet you and listen in a little bit.
Oh, well, thank you. So you were able to hear at least some of the show?
I was, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I want to thank you for accepting the call. I think you were one of the people I slid up in your DMs and I said, "Hey, I have a show. Would you like to be on it?" And you were like, "Yeah, okay."
Yes. Love to talk to people and meet new people and learn something. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. And I also want to apologize to you if there was a little confusion about where to go at first, because the show used to be on Instagram Live, and Instagram was just so unpredictable that I moved over to StreamYard. So now the show is on YouTube and Facebook Live. So I apologize if there was a little bit of confusion as to where to go at first, but you made it though.
Yes, and this actually works better than Instagram because you see
Yes.
the waiting room, and I like it. It's really convenient. You can get the little preview. So I learned something new already.
Yeah, so like I said, the show is on YouTube Live, it's on Instagram Live, and excuse me, not Instagram Live, but Facebook Live.
Okay.
And then also I'll be taking the audio of the show and I'm going to put it in podcast form. So we'll be able to get it out that way as well.
Very cool. I love it.
Well, thank you. Now, you are a children's author and you have been doing very well as a children's author. So, can you tell us a little something about yourself?
Sure. So I self-published on my first children's book called Girls Like Me in 2021. I started writing during the pandemic when I was stuck at home.
Yes.
I never knew I wanted to be an author, but I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I thought a book was something I could be really passionate about and really want to speak about. So it was the first like passion project I really started.
Okay. So, what's Girls Like Me about? Are you touching on any specific subject?
Yes, so Girls Like Me on the cover, she's a brown skinned girl with a curly afro, and she's in a doctor uniform.
Yes.
Inside the book, she explores different careers like an astronaut, a pilot, a scientist, all with her natural hair. And I feel like growing up, I didn't see a lot of books with Black girls in those cool STEM jobs, like encouraging
Yes.
to think outside the box.
Yes. Yes. So, do you have a daughter yourself?
I do not. I am just an auntie and a godmom.
An auntie. Well, you know what? Sometimes with the auntie, you can be the cool auntie, and then you can go on home and chill and drink your wine in front of the window, like I've seen you doing on your Instagram.
That is me. I love the kids. I love all sorts of children. I feel like I definitely have the patience for it. That's why I love doing the readings and the story times.
Yes.
Always love like my little cousins. I've always enjoyed kids.
That's beautiful. So, well, I guess the reason why I asked is what made you write a children's book? Because most people I talk to have written a children's book because they wanted books that look like their kids, or they were trying to find certain books and they weren't able to find them. So they said, I need to create this for myself. So, what led you to children's book versus contemporary fiction, adult fiction, or so forth?
Yeah, so growing up, I was the kid that always had a book. Like I love to read.
Yeah.
So when I sort of started writing this project, I combined it with my passion for career development. Like before I was an author, I was also doing like resumes and cover letters and helping people get jobs. And so when I was in college, I met the people who are the characters in my book. Like I had a friend she became an engineer, a friend going to medical school. And it was just so cool and new to me that I'm like, wow, like these are the first Black women, the first representation I'm seeing of these sort of jobs.
Yes.
I was able to combine those real life people in the theme of a book so that little girls coming up can learn from an early age to really dream big.
Right. And I think that really helps to change the conversation because I'm going to be 50 next month and I don't all I didn't always get to see books that with characters who looked like me. Every once in a while I might see a book with Black characters on the cover, but it was not all the time. So sometimes I wonder what Gen Xers such as myself, what would we be had we had those books that affirmed us at a young age? Because we were coming out of we came right after the civil rights era. So that whole black love and black excellence wasn't not that we weren't excellent back then, but we weren't saying black excellence. We were just starting to say black love, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. But I don't know, that was like a song. We didn't always get to see what that meant or what that looked like.
Absolutely. And so yeah, I definitely have a lot of adults, or like some of my coworkers would say, like, wow, this book inspired me too. Like I'm a grown woman and it's still just cool to
Yes.
see a black pilot. Like she's a pilot with her braids in. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen that in real life.
Yes.
So it just inspires people to just continue to raise the bar and to lift as you climb. Like I love to talk to students of all ages about what they're interested in, jobs, school, life, like just to keep the conversation going.
Right, right, right. That's why I said I really value that. There's been a boom of children's books of color, and I think
Absolutely.
it's really helping.
Yeah, and I always say that there's no competition because there still aren't enough books to where it can get oversaturated. Like we
Right.
grew up reading about people different than us our whole lives. So I think all kids should have black books and Asian books and get used to seeing people who are different than them because
Right.
there's
And
no.
not in a stereotypical way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, like when we're in the TV shows, we're the supportive best friend or the assistant, or we aren't the star of the show, right?
Right. We're always the sassy best friend who likes to say, "Oh, white girls this, black girls that." And why are you so sassy and so woke, but you don't hang with any black people? What's going on?
Just for entertainment, make us laugh.
Right, right. So now you said you wrote your book in 2021, did you say?
Oh yeah, I started writing in 2020 and published in June 2021. It came out.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about that process, because there are a number of people who want to be children's authors and they're not sure where to start or how to begin, and you seem to have found success on your first try.
Yes, so I use the free platform by Amazon called Kindle Direct Publishing,
Mhm.
KDP. And so they allow, once you have your finished product, like once I had my book written and all of the illustrations finished, I could upload that book to Amazon and they do print on demand, where when you buy it off of Amazon, they're printing and shipping it to that customer. And so I get some royalties and Amazon gets royalties.
Right, right, right. So now I've heard some people say mixed reviews about Kindle Direct Publishing. Have you had a good experience with them so far?
Yes, I definitely understand the mixed reviews, right? Because I find that I like Amazon for the accessibility. Like I started doing this while at my like regular full-time job, so it really
Right.
easy to do it on the side. However, when you really want to dive into entrepreneurship, it's hard to split your royalties, so much of your earnings with Amazon. And some people don't want to do that at all, which I get.
Right.
So you just sort of have to weigh out. And for me, for my first project, I'm like, well, this is the easiest way for me to go about it. So it worked out.
That's what I tell people. I never tell people which route they should go. Whether it's traditional, self-published, whether you should do KDP, Ingram Spark, or do the whole thing yourself. I try not to tell people, but what I do tell them is to weigh how is your life. For me, I would rather do KDP or even Ingram Spark, because I'm not going to the post office every day. I don't have time to mail books. If you're waiting on me to mail you a book, this is why I don't pay my bills, like write checks anymore. Because as soon as I found out you can do it online, I did it. I remember one time I had a $60 electric bill and I kept forgetting to take that mail that bill off. And one day I came home and my lights were turned out. I said, my lights got turned out for a $60 bill. No, I'm not doing this again.
Wow.
I said I would. I know I'm not going to the post office. So because I know I'm not going to go to the post office, because I know I don't have time to do that every day, because I also work a full-time job. KDP works for me because I don't have to worry about mailing books off. So, but for somebody else, maybe that royalty split might be a little too much for them, or maybe they don't mind going to the post office, or maybe they have a one of those package services where FedEx will come pick up the
Yeah.
packages for you? Because that's a thing. So that might be something I consider later on. But you have to look at your lifestyle. You have to look at what your options are and what's going to work best for you, and then you make your decision that way. But don't go by what other people are telling you.
Absolutely. And I found sort of the best of both worlds because after I published on Amazon, I did get my website. And
Yeah.
I did ended up I do have a stock of books that I keep for when sometimes people want to buy like bulk orders, or sometimes they don't want to use Amazon. So I'm there, but it's not at a space where I'm running to the post office 10 times a day and so on. When I do plan to do like a next launch where I want to do it myself, I just have to prepare for that volume, right? But on a
Exactly.
normal basis, Amazon does way more of the dirty work than I do.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. Now, if I know that I have an event coming up and I'm going to need books, I'll order my author copies. But
Okay.
now with author copies, make sure you do that about 3 or 4 weeks in advance, because they're not going to send you those books next day
They're not
prime delivery.
Not at all. They're taxed, they're expensive.
Yes.
The more you learn.
Right. Now, how did you go about your process of finding an illustrator?
So I use the website peopleperhour.com. It's a free website similar to like Fiverr and Upwork. So I had done a lot of research, just different children's books to learn the style I wanted so that I could look through different portfolios and say, okay, she can do the curly hair and she gets the message. Because not everyone, a lot of people, their default is blue eyes and blonde hair. So you really have to make sure they understand. And so luckily she was awesome. She just knocked it out the park. She really listened and understood. So it's kind of a risk using one of those freelancer websites, like anything that happened. But I was really blessed running into Abira.
Well, how long do you think it took you to find her? Because I've talked with children's authors, and sometimes that's their hardest process, because you can't go with somebody just because they draw well. You need somebody who's really going to see your concept and your vision and then bring it to life.
Yeah, it definitely took a couple months because I didn't exactly know what I was looking for. Like looking back, I'm glad she was just a nice person, because there's like little stuff she could have sort of got over with by me not knowing to add that to the contract, right? There's just little stuff like formatting and can you do this or can you do that, or do I need to hire someone else again, right? So luckily she was very talented, and my judgment worked out by I saw her reviews and I saw books she had done, and I said, hey, let's do it. And she was affordable. That was very important.
That's always good. Do you have the book with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I thought that was it behind you.
Yes, here she is. Girls
like pretty.
Yeah, thank you. My baby.
Well, I really feel, well, your book was published in 2021, so it may be too late. But have you ever thought of joining any children's book contests?
I see them, and I have Boys Like Me that's like coming out this year.
Yes.
Qualify. So sometimes there's just so many. I have to see what ones are legit, right?
Right.
My research, because I still feel new to this world when it comes to that. But I have seen people win really cool awards and get all sorts of things. But I need to enter into some contests and try.
Plus, it's great exposure.
Yes. Yeah. Have you done contests?
I did them when I first got into the industry. I don't write children's books. I write contemporary fiction. But when I've been in for about 20 years. So yeah, when I first got into the industry, I was doing them. I'm going to get back into doing them. When I got my doctorate, I kind of slowed down on my fiction writing, and I'm trying to get back into it now. Well, I slowed down on that, then I started the business, and then I started doing this show. But then people who have known me for a long time, they said, Rhonda, you need to start writing again. And I'm like, you're right. I do.
See, it's good to have that support.
Yes. So I actually am planning on rebooting one novel and writing another novel this summer.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
exciting. I would love to write a novel. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, do you want to do more than children's books?" But thinking about a novel, like just how much time, that's a lot more words than what I've done before. But I'm like, I think I have something in mind.
That's a lot more words.
Yeah. I feel like it would take me like years, but I see people do it. People like take a couple chunks and a couple weeks of time here and there.
Yeah.
And
Well, I tell people all the time, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
okay,
So, if you're going to write a full length novel, you don't have, it's not like you're going to have 300 pages tomorrow,
right.
and then you're on your own timeline right now. So write a little bit at a time, even if it starts off with 1 or 2 pages, and then maybe once you get into a flow, it'll go up to 5 pages. There have been some times I've been in the flow and I wrote like 11 or 12 pages in one sitting. But you write at your pace, and tell the story that you want to tell, but don't rush yourself. Give
Oh,
yourself time to let that story flow.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great advice. See, I'm always happy I do things like this. Connect with my people.
Well, I'm glad I could help. And then if you don't want to confuse people because you write children's books and you write under your name, maybe you might want to do a pen name. But
Yeah.
then my favorite children's author when I was growing up was Judy Blume. And Judy Blume wrote the young adult stories, but she also wrote adult fiction. And she wrote it under Judy Blume as well. I wasn't looking for her book. I was a preteen, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's another way to look at it.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely use a pen name. I've seen
Yeah.
people do that before, and I see why. Inspiration.
Yeah, I think you should do it. Why not?
Yes, thank you.
So now another thing I wanted to talk with you about, you have a great social media presence.
Thank you. I built it up after publishing. Like people think that things happen like right off the bat or from day one, but I'll say my first couple like weeks or months was kind of slow. Like I had to learn to get the hang of it. So
Yeah.
I first created my author Instagram like separate from my personal and started just posting about the process and the how to. But then once I got on TikTok, which is like more fast video content, they have such a bigger reach.
Yeah.
I was able to grow on there and sort of cross promote. So I use
Hmm.
TikTok and Instagram and post my Amazon link in my bio.
Yep.
Just kept posting and just sort of found what content worked. And people
Mhm.
love to hear the backstory and how you did it. And I love to share. I'm like, I learned all of this for free by doing my research. So I'm happy to help the next.
Well, now, I've got to ask, what are some tips that you would give to somebody who is, well, let's, because you have two things. We're going to talk first about the tips for social media, since we're talking about that right now. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of tips that you'd like to share about getting started in the children's book industry. So let's start with social media.
Yes. So for social media, I say it's like you're not just selling your product, you're selling yourself. And
Yes, people support who they like.
yeah, it's like once I realize I connect to someone or I want to keep clicking, it's like whatever they're selling, I'm gonna
Mhm.
buy. Like whether it's t-shirts or coffee cups, it's like, well, I like her message and I look forward to seeing her face every day. So I'm gonna buy whatever she's selling. Also, yeah, share like your background story. People want to know how, and they want it to they like to know, oh, do you have a full-time job? Do you have kids? How did you fund this? Where did you get the money? Did you
Right.
have a publicist or did you have to fundraise? And they just really like to know the foundation and the groundwork. So, really being relatable and sharing your process. People love the transparency.
Oh, absolutely. And yes to the transparency. People like to feel like they know you. Like I posted a video about a time when I met Eric Jerome Dickey as an author, and he purchased my book.
Cool.
And everybody who commented under that video talked about how nice he was and how personable he was, and that he was never an unfriendly person. People were making those comments because they everybody felt like they were friends with him.
Yeah.
Everybody felt like they knew him, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was able to be so successful because everybody felt like they were a friend. When he passed, everybody's like, "Oh, my friend, I'm gonna miss him." Whether you knew him for a little while or you knew him for a long while, you felt like you knew him.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful to me, especially how like I've become like friends with people over social media. Like when you
Yeah.
positive interactions being a little part of people's day, it can really be positive, and especially when you meet in person, you kind of feel connected. Because I feel like it can be isolating, sort of being an author, unless your whole community is full of people doing what you're doing. You have to
Mhm.
sort of go reach out and find people that are in your world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's move over to children's books.
Yes. So my children's book advice would be definitely find a book topic that you're passionate about so that you
Yes.
can speak to it and want to post about it. Like, no matter how silly it sounds, if you're interested in sports or cooking or animals, your audience is always going to be out there, but you want to make sure it's something you're proud to talk about. Like, I made mine about careers because I like to talk about how I went to school and discovered all this stuff for the first time, and it's interesting to me. So yeah, make sure you would write about something you can connect to so that you can really take pride in it. And it would also to be just be very careful, like with your budget. A lot you
That's a
can.
big one.
I was quoted between like $500 and like $20,000 for
Wow.
illustrations. Yeah, for children's books at that. There's
Well,
just
children's books are going to be, and I guess in this case, we have to manage expectations because children's books are going to be more expensive than, let's say, a novel like I would write, because the only color on my novel is going to be that front cover. You have full color all the way through your book. So even though it's a shorter book, we're looking at the full color and the vibrancy of it. We're looking at the glossy pages.
Mhm.
The lettering is a little bit bigger, and then most times they're probably a hardback. Is your book hardback or softback?
So I have paperback and hardcover, but the
See?
hardcovers they're expensive to print. They're
Yes.
expensive for even me to obtain. So, but yeah, some of the, especially the illustrators of the more like popular books you see, like the Hair Love and the books you see everywhere, they're probably charging those. So they're probably charging ridiculous. You would just never imagine
Right.
how much it can cost. So as a
Yeah.
person just
Well,
starting out, you have to be reasonable.
so don't just think just because your book is only 15 pages or 20 pages that it's supposed to be cheap. It's not. It's going to take some money to make this book the way you want it to look, because people love children's books because of the vibrant colors.
Right. That's
Um,
all.
yeah, the simplicity of the message. When kids go to when you take kids and you're an auntie, if you've taken your nieces and nephews or your friends' kids to the bookstore, they go straight to the books that capture their attention. They,
Yeah.
oh, this book is pretty. Can I have this book? And that's what's going to happen. So if you just threw that book together, they're going to walk right past it.
Yeah, so good illustrators, they take their time, they charge by the page. And yeah, I learned that the sky is the limit. They'll add all the detail you want, but they'll tack on how much time it takes them to do that and charge you
Right.
a fee. So you just have to have your budget together and know what
Mhm.
you're willing to spend. Because I would have never guessed that this could be such an expensive hobby to start.
And then you're paying the illustrator, but then you also have to pay the printer to print all of these beautiful, colorful pages.
And that's the most expensive part. Like, yeah, your illustrator is like, that was a one-time fee. But then I ordered my first set of hardcovers from Ingram, and they were expensive. And then once I'm out, I'm like, wait a second, I have to spend more money to make money.
Yes.
And I realized it's cheaper to find a bulk printer and get them in bulk. But then you have to make sure you can sell them and how you're going to ship them. So that's a whole other beast.
Or
But
else you have a garage full of books.
right, yeah, I'm like, I don't want to keep them so long that they get moist and wet.
I
And
was
I
just going to say that, because that's the other danger. You have all of these books sitting in the house. Somebody spills something on the box, or they get mildewed if they're sitting in the garage and it's damp in your garage, and now you've lost all your inventory that you can't sell. And you can't even sell it at a cheaper price, because if there's too much moisture, you can't even open the book. The pages sticking together, so you've lost money.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's another, you have to think about where you're gonna put them. Yeah, when I
Yeah.
started, I was in an apartment. Now I'm in a house. So I at least, I guess I'd have to fill up a whole room full of books, but at least I have that as an option now. Before, I don't know where they would have went. I don't know how that would have happened. But yeah, there's so many things so many moving parts here.
Yes, yes. So you said Boys Like Me is going to be released soon. So is that going to be about careers as well?
Yeah, so it's pretty much the boy version of Girls Like Me, because Girls Like Me, I guess I hadn't really thought about just purposely making it for girls. I guess I'm a girl, my friends were girls, it just seemed natural. But as I sell it, everyone's like, well, I have a son. What about the boy moms? And I'm like, oh, well, I hadn't thought that far ahead. And so I had to find another illustrator and sort of put that together. And it's just
Oh, she couldn't do the same one? You can use the same one?
so no, she got busy.
Oh.
I was sharing Who Are You. I mean, she's on the cover. I was letting everybody know, like, oh, go support her. And then when I wanted my project done quickly, I ended up using someone else. But my illustrator, she's still booked and busy, so it was no hard feelings. But yeah, I was.
Wow, see, this is why people don't like to share their resources. Now they took your illustrator.
That's the only thing I could have kept under wraps a little more. But other than that, like, I'm happy to share where I went wrong, where you can save money. Like, I think it's fun to live and learn.
Amen. So when do you expect that book to hit the shelves?
So yeah, he's really ready. I'm hoping to wait until I can get my hardcovers in hand in bulk. So I'm thinking the fall. I have had some paperbacks that I've sold in person. So if you
Yes.
caught me out and about, I like soft launched it. But I want to do like the whole like little social media rollout and hopefully have my hardcovers to send out, because I didn't have those at first with Girls Like Me because I just did Amazon.
Right.
I just want to go about it differently. So once I can figure out that printing situation, I can set a date and get a couple hundred books in my living room.
Okay. All right. Now, people still need to sit down when they come visit you now.
Right, I know. Yes, and no one will have a place to sit. Yeah, I'll have to see how to
I
find
can
the
see you're gonna put a tablecloth over 2 boxes of books and make it into a table.
Yeah, don't put your cup here. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Sensitive merchandise. Yeah,
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. So do you have any book events coming up?
Coming up, yes. So I have an event in Philadelphia on June 4th. I
Okay.
collaborated with an author that's based out of Philly. We met on social media. So she was able to put together like a vendor event. She has like a daycare there. So we're gonna have like a family day in Philly.
Nice, nice. Okay. And now can you put your website in the chat?
Yes, I sure will.
Yeah, because I'm sure people are gonna want to reach out to you and learn more about your books.
I appreciate it. Always happy to share. I love to talk to school groups, and I've done work groups, and just always, you never know who wants to hear the story.
Right, right. Oh, okay, so I think that Valerie accidentally she accidentally knocked herself off, but that's okay because I have her website. Okay, she's back now.
My first time on StreamYard. It's like the first time. Did I break it?
Don't worry, don't worry. I covered for you. So I am putting your website in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, and here it is right here, so everybody can see it.
Awesome. Yes. Reach out.
Yeah. So now how can they reach you on that poppin' TikTok and Instagram account that you have?
Yes, I'm on Instagram and TikTok at author Valerie Thompkins. I share stuff about the publishing process, the good, the bad, the fun, just about work and life. So I love to connect.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm trying to see if I have there it is, right here. I have your social media link. I guess are all of your links the same at author Valerie Thompkins?
Yep, yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So we want to make sure that people can support you. Author Valerie Thompkins. See, it linked to your website. I mean, not your website, your Facebook.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so let me do it this way. It's at author Valerie Thompkins, right?
Yep, for TikTok and Instagram.
Okay, there we go. There, like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay, I did it right. But thank you so much for being a part of the show. It was wonderful to meet you. Congratulations on everything that you're doing. And I hope that we can stay in touch with each other.
Yes, it's great to connect with, again, like-minded people that always have good stuff and are willing to share. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the rest of your week. And we will be in touch on these interwebs.
yes, we'll stay connected for sure. You have a great week.
And you do the same. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, so everybody, that was our episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And for those of you who don't know, I will be having a writer's retreat on, I have 2 different dates. One is going to be May 20th through 21st. The other is July 8th through 9th. We're going to have classes. We're going to have writing exercises. We're going to have special guests. You're going to get a free workbook. I am going to have lunch delivered to you. So you get all of that for just less than $200. So I hope that you guys will be a part of this. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot. And by the time you leave this retreat, you'll be ready to write your book. So I want to see you guys there. So that is all I have tonight. Oh, and if you want information on how to find the writer's retreat, all you have to do is message me, and I will also put the link in the chat so you can find it. So that is all that we have for tonight. Thank you once again for joining me. And I want you to have a wonderful evening. I want you to keep writing. And I want you to come back next week because I have 2 more guests that I would love to introduce you to. So God bless you. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.